So my problem with the make money online space on YouTube is no one is willing to really show you the losses that they take and the failures that they see, and they're only willing to show you all the money that they make, all the success that they see, all of the fancy cars that they drive, and so forth. And that's why in this video I'm going to be explaining how I lost $3 million in 2022, as it is almost the end of the year. It's now November, and I want to go over all of the issues that I faced this year being an online entrepreneur, having e-commerce businesses, having investments, and the biggest mistakes that I personally made myself. And I have no shame in saying that it is my fault that I lost $3 million this year, and it's down to my actions and no one else's. And it is extremely important that a lot of you guys that are watching this, especially if you're a beginner and you're thinking about starting an online business or becoming an entrepreneur, it's important that you guys see that the guys that look like they're making a lot of money also make a lot of losses. They also see failures in their businesses. Now, the whole purpose of this video and the reason why I'm making it is to show you guys that are aspiring to be millionaires or multi-millionaires that you always have to hold yourself accountable when things go wrong in your businesses or your investments, and you should never blame anyone else for it, and you should always look at yourself first before you're looking to blame others. Because the truth is, guys, me losing $3 million this year is actually one of the best things that have happened to me, because it's taught me things about myself that I didn't know about, which is going to save me lots of money in the future. Because imagine if this happened to me on a larger scale, I would have lost a lot more money because I wouldn't have been able to identify the problems that I've got with myself. And I'm honestly fed up of all these people online showing you the crazy lifestyle, showing you how much money they're making, but they're not willing to show you the losses that they take and them holding themselves accountable for those problems. Who knows, maybe they don't even run any businesses and that's the reason why they can't show you the losses. But for me personally, in this video, I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys and explain how this happened. Now, I'd really appreciate if you guys could smash the like button on this video. It's up to you if you want to subscribe, and if you could also leave a comment on your feedback or any thoughts that you've got. So let's dive into the story on how I lost $3 million during the year of 2022. So for this to make sense, we've got to rewind it all the way back to the start of the year, which is January 2022. Now, for this whole year, my plan was to generate as much cash flow through e-commerce businesses and dropshipping stores. And if you don't know what e-commerce is or dropshipping is, these are my two biggest businesses that generate me cash flow, and I'll put a picture on the screen to explain how these businesses work. So what I did at the start of the year is all the successful dropshipping stores that I had the prior year, which would have been 2021, I tried converting them into dropshipping private label stores. So what I basically did is I took a standard product from China and I put my logos onto the successful stores that I had that made a lot of money in the previous year. And by doing this, you have to order it in bulk, you have to invest into branding, you have to invest money into fulfillment and storage, and this can cost tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Once I converted those two standard dropshipping stores into unique brands, I started running ads for them, working with influencers. So 5 months into running marketing campaigns for these custom dropshipping brands, everything went the wrong way, because every single month we would either break even or make losses, and I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars. And after those 5 months, I had to really look at myself and think, do I continue with these dropshipping custom brands, or do I just pull away and cut my losses there? And I would carry on for another 2 months and things would get even worse for me. And eventually I had to say to myself, look, I'm gonna have to cut my losses here because I've lost almost 6 figures just on these custom dropshipping stores. I was trying to find any reason for it not to be my fault, but to be something else's fault, so I knew I could carry on with these businesses. But eventually I realized that it was all my fault. I got emotionally attached to these two stores because I invested my own money into them and I didn't want to see it become a loss. And I also let my ego get in the way by thinking, look, Cam, you know what you're doing, you're very good at this, surely you cannot fail doing this. I let my ego and pride eat away at my money. And the lesson that you got to learn here, guys, is if you're investing into e-commerce brands or private label dropshipping stores, you've got to understand that sometimes that investment might not ever come back and you might have to take the loss. And even when you convert a traditional dropshipping store into a private label brand, during that process, your product could die, the trend might die out, anything can happen in that time frame that might make that investment completely die out. Now, this moves me into the second portion of the e-commerce loss this year, which is I invested into loads of e-commerce brands this year. So at the start of the year, another thing that I wanted to do was invest into e-commerce brands, own more e-commerce brands in my portfolio, and then in 3 years time, 5 years time, I'm going to sell my shares and make loads of money from these e-commerce brands, or I'm going to sell the company and take my percentage, which is exactly what I did this year. So I invested into around about 10 e-commerce brands this year, and 7 of them have failed. 7 of them have basically gone bankrupt, they've lost, and I've had to put all the money that I put into them is completely burnt to nothing. And the reason why this happened was because the e-commerce brands that I invested in did really, really well the previous year and the year before that, but in 2022 and the end of 2021, they were performing really badly. And when I looked at what was going wrong in those businesses, I thought it was a really, really easy fix. And I let my ego and pride get in the way into thinking, look, Cam, this is going to be really easy for you to flip around and make lots of money with. So what I did was I underestimated the work that was needed, and I underestimated the task ahead in terms of how challenging it really is going to be. For example, one of the things that I thought when I looked at an e-commerce brand that I wanted to invest in was they're not doing really good email marketing, they're not doing really good text message marketing, they're not doing TikTok ads, they're not doing X, Y, and Z. I can easily bring that to the table and make it work. All of these e-commerce brands that I onboarded, I had to invest some of my own money into them, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I also had to bring my own teams into the company and get them to try and push it towards being even more profitable and even more successful. So when I onboarded into these new companies, I brought my marketing teams over, I brought my VAs over, I brought everything I could into these businesses. And the biggest problem in these businesses were the marketing teams that I brought in. Now, the marketing teams were the companies that I brought in, people that I trusted. So when they made a mess of the work, it was my fault. But I kept these companies on for around about 7 months, from January all the way till the end of August. I kept them on, even though they were doing a really bad job and I really didn't know anything about it, because I kept thinking it's not their fault, it's the economy's fault, it's the brand's fault, the brand isn't doing things right. I kept finding any excuse to validate why this marketing team that I had was doing a good job. And eventually I realized that the marketing team just wasn't good enough for these e-commerce brands, and I had to cut them out. And the marketing team that I got involved was somebody that I personally knew, so I had a bias towards them because I've got a personal relationship with them. And I kept giving this person the benefit of the doubt, the benefit of the doubt, the benefit of the doubt. But by me doing this, more money and more money kept getting burnt. And recently, at the end of August, I switched those marketing teams round, and the companies that are still alive, which is 3 of them that I invested in this year, are now booming and creating lots of revenue and lots of profit. The bad news is 7 of them out of the 10 have completely flopped. They've disappeared, and all the money that I've invested into them, whether it be a cash injection or whether it be me bringing these teams into the workspace by me paying them, I've lost money in doing that as well. So my biggest lesson here, guys, is do not underestimate the challenge ahead. Don't think that it's going to be easy because you've done things in the past that could make it easy. Come into a new challenge with an open mind and really think to yourself, it's not going to be easy. Always plan for the worst. Always think it's going to be harder than it actually is. And then when you go into that task, and if it does get hard, you're going to be prepared for it. Because the honest truth is, I wasn't prepared for things to go really wrong. And my problem was, when I came into these e-commerce brands, I thought I had it all planned out because I thought I was bringing in the right stuff. My problem was the marketing agencies kept making excuses, and I kept letting them carry on till I realized that these excuses became too many and I needed to cut them out and give somebody else a chance to see if the excuses were still going to happen with somebody else. So if you've outsourced any marketing agencies, any VAs, if you're having issues with them, replace them and see if the same issues are going to occur. And at the end of the day, I've got to take full responsibility for those marketing agencies. Look, I came into these e-commerce brands promising them that I'd deliver on a better return, and I didn't bring that, and it wasn't the marketing agency's fault. It was my fault for giving them too much time to mess about and not get the job done. And what I would also say to you guys is, don't underestimate how much time you have to give something for it to truly appreciate. So don't think about starting 5 different businesses and underestimate the time that has to go into them. And when problems occur in your businesses, you need to take a step back from it and think with an open mind, what could potentially be going wrong with this business, and start to take actions. And if you have to kick people out of the company or kick workforces out, it isn't nice to do it, but you have to do it to keep the company alive. Another thing is, let's say you've had success in a different business and you create a new business or go into a new business thinking, yeah, I had success on my old business, so this one's going to be easy too. If you go into things like that, then you're going to completely shoot yourself in the foot like I did. I thought that I've seen lots of success with other e-commerce stores and other e-commerce brands and dropshipping stores. If I come into these ones, it's going to be really easy. And look what happened to me by thinking like that. That brings me to the end of the e-commerce side of things and the losses that have occurred. And the losses that occurred in the e-commerce and dropshipping space in this year is roughly around about $1 million, from cash injections to advertisement losses to loads of other things. That brings me into the second part of me losing $3 million this year, and this brings me on to the investment side of things. So at the end of 2022, I invested a lot of the cash reserves that I had into the crypto market space. Now, for those that are watching this thinking you just gambled on meme coins and all this and all that and all that, I didn't do any of that. I invested my money into solid projects, and the project was Ethereum, which we can all agree that is a solid project, and it's probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon. I would have to agree with people that are watching this. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the safest ones, and anything else apart from them two are going to be a complete gamble. But anyway, let's move on to how I lost the money. So when I invested in 2020, November, a lot of my money into Ethereum, I was buying it at around about $800 to around about $1,300. Now that was a good entry point. Now I rode the crypto market from where it was when I bought it, which was $800 to $1,300. I rode it all the way up. I think Ethereum went to something like $4,500. I didn't take any profits. People would say to me, Cam, it doesn't hurt to take profit. Take a little bit of money out. Take your initial investment out. I didn't listen to anyone. And the reason why I didn't listen to anyone was because I thought I knew better. I thought Ethereum was going to go to $10,000. I thought it was going to go to $8,000. I thought, why would I sell now if I've only 3x my money? What's the 3x? So I kept telling myself these silly things, and I didn't listen to people. And the reason why I didn't listen to people was because I thought I knew more than what they knew. And then the other problem that I had was I had that beginner's problem, which is when you get into becoming an investor, you always think that hodling, holding your coins or holding your properties or holding your stocks is the best thing that you can do. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. A lot of people on YouTube do spread that narrative, which is you should never sell. You should always hodl. You should never sell your crypto. You should never sell your stocks. You should never sell your properties. But the truth is, if you've made a good return on it, you should always take profits. Even if it's 25%, 25%, 25%, you should always pay yourself. It doesn't hurt taking profits. And the sad truth is, it took all the pain that I've just gone through to really understand this. So I've seen my portfolio go from $1 million in crypto all the way up to around about $3.5 million, and now come all the way back to around about $1 million. So if you're watching this video and you invest money into the stock market, the crypto market, the real estate market, you should always take profit once you've got that profit on the table. I'm not saying all of it, even a few percent, even 10%, 20%, but at least take something, because you don't know what can happen. In my instance, I thought the market was only ever going to go up. And even if the market did come down, I didn't anticipate it coming down this badly. I thought, okay, it could drop 50%. I'm okay with that. But I didn't think it could drop 80%, 90%. I completely overlooked that thought. Although there's lots of BS on YouTube telling you to hodl, telling you to do X, Y, and Z, at the end of the day, you can't blame these people. You should hold yourself accountable for being stupid enough into believing those thought processes. And what I've learned from this experience is next time I make money in crypto, which I definitely will be, and for those that are wondering that are watching this video, I'm in stable coins right now, just USDT and USDC. I got out of my Ethereum at around about $1,300. I'm technically not in a loss on my investment, but I've lost all the gains that I made last year. And I'm just going to be patient, wait to see how things go, and reinvest in the market when I think the time's right. And I'm also next time going to take profits on the way up instead of holding my bag on the way down like an idiot. And for those that are watching this that have never invested before, I'd always recommend anyone invest, especially if you've got the money at the end of the month, even if it's 5%, even if it's 10%. Let's say you've got a business. For me, I've got loads of e-commerce businesses that generate cash, and I invest that cash into things like the stock market and the crypto market. But the truth is, investing your money can sometimes be really hard, and sometimes you get into the bad habits that most investors get into, like myself last year. So to clear things up for you guys, I've lost around about $2 million in my crypto portfolio this year. So if you add that with my e-commerce losses, it's roughly around about $3 million. Now my net worth is still in the mid 7 figures. I've got over 7 figures in liquid cash. I'm still doing really well, and I'm very grateful for what God's given me. But I've got to give you guys this honest, transparent thought on all of my problems that I've suffered from this year and my own problems. No one else's. I'm not blaming this person. I'm not blaming that person. These are all the problems that I chose to take, and I've got to learn from these things, and I've got no shame in telling you guys that these are all my fault and this is why I've lost this money. There's a book that I read at the start of my e-commerce journey and I completely forgot about the first principle, and the book is called Ego is the Enemy, and that's a book that I'd recommend that everyone reads. Everyone's ego, everyone's pride always gets in the way, and the sad truth is the more money that you make, the more ego and the more pride you will naturally get, especially if you come from a self-made point of view. I didn't have rich parents. I'm a self-made multimillionaire, and because I've been able to create that wealth for myself, it's given me a slight ego that I've learned that I've needed to cut out. So from now to 2023, I'm going into everything with a new approach and a new mindset. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something. I hope you guys appreciate me being as transparent as I can with you, and let me know what you guys thought of today's video in the comment section below. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.